There you go. You can get started now.
Yeah, I had that same thought because there is a lot in here, and I'm not sure how far advanced everybody is in their Canva workshop or Canva journey. So hopefully you can take a look at this to refresh your memory if you need. But if anyone has any questions that haven't been answered by the end of the workshop, I put my email here so that you can shoot me a message. I'm a sucker for troubleshooting. Camilla knows that.
Yes, very much so.
But I'd like to get to know you a little bit, if you don't mind. Put your name and what organization you are from in the chat. And we'd like to know are the most common social media, what is the most common social media image that you're asked to make? And do you write your own copy or are you provided with text and captions for the image? So,
Yeah, copy is the messaging that you put along with your social media message, or
that's,
even like the messaging that you would put on a poster, for example.
yeah, a lot of times we brainstorm our own when we're working together creating this social media calendar. But I'm really interested to see if anybody else uh, has to create it on their own or they have input from other or they're given it from another person. 99%. Yeah. It's the
So,
nonprofit where you wear all the hats, right? Anyone else?
people, a couple of seconds here.
Seeds of, uh,
No.
use Canva mostly in my own organization, the emotional literacy movement. I typically use it to create handouts and PowerPoint presentations. So, are you thinking of doing more social media content, Chris? Diane with South Interlake. I make posters for events. I write my own. Okay. Mary occasionally post on Facebook and put out a newsletter twice a year. Okay. So there's some print things in here, people in here. Interesting. Facebook mostly. Oh, publisher, that's classic. Uh,
Oh, haven't heard of publisher in a long time. That's a good
yeah.
one.
Uh, Canva is the new it program. It definitely has pretty much like anything you want in there. Oh, Julia, hi. We have someone from the team who does our social media. Okay, here to support more. Lots of branded graphics. I do lots on our brand voice. Okay. Yeah, Canva's interesting too. You can actually teach it to do your brand voice. So that's kind of a cool feature. I'll make posters. Okay. A lot of posters in here. Maybe I'll try to skew some things in that. Um, by Brent, Manitoba Band Association, Social Squares to upcoming event, own copy, own design. Oh, good. Great brand kits are key. All right. All right. Oh, I like publisher. Got two publishers in here. Yeah. Yeah. Canva is, like I said, I've used Adobe and I love diehard Adobe fan, but Canva makes social media images so easy to make. But yeah. Okay. Well, let's keep going on here. Let's get me people out of the way here. Okay. Well, this is skewed towards social media. I'll try to throw in some print things in there if I think of it, and maybe at the end we can talk about it a little bit as well. But the agenda for the workshop is we're going to go into my favorite design principles, uh, where to begin when starting a design. We're going to dive into Canva and work on an image for a social media post demonstrating techniques and how-tos. We're going to look at adding video and audio to a post. Maybe I can expand your repertoires. Uh, we're going to go through on how to share the post, what the different formats mean, and we're going to finish off with some final tips that I hope you find useful. To begin with, who has heard of the principles of design? Does that ring a bell with anybody? There are a number of them, but the ones I think will help you most, I've put them in here. I'll talk more about these when I'm in Canva and creating a post, and you'll find that there is a theme running through these guidelines. The goal is to help your audience understand your message. So my first principle of design is white space, or also called negative space. The strategic use of space is key to making an effective design that stands out. White space, or the negative space between elements or objects on the page, can help guide the viewer's eye to the most important parts of your design while letting others elements take the back seat. In this case, the white space on the right is balanced for the text on the left. This is a really nice example. Notice there's not a lot of text on these, but they really stand out and will stop the scroll on social media. Balance is what allows you to create visual interest, and it's the reason why some designs feel off. Try to find a way to balance the elements in your design. This doesn't have to be taken literally. You don't have to put one thing on one side and one thing on the other. But one way to do it is by using negative or white space, and by making sure the visual weight of your elements are similar. And sort of like the lights at the top right are sort of balancing out the text on the bottom left. Another example, this also could be considered under alignment or visual hierarchy principles. Those are coming up next. You'll see what I mean. But basically, again, this is kind of a white space, even though there's something there, but everything is aligned here and it's balanced out by this item here. Alignment is also key to creating a successful design. When elements are properly aligned, it creates a sense of harmony and organization, allowing viewers to easily navigate and comprehend your design. So this is also includes white space. A lot of this stuff goes hand in hand. For instance, the text is center aligned here on the left-hand side, but this is also about balance. The column of text is balanced by the image on the right. And you can check out the alignment here. It's another example. I like this one as the text has a nice relationship to the image. If only we had such a small amount of text and on all our images. It's food for thought, really. Visual hierarchy. If you establish a design hierarchy, it's another way you can avoid visual chaos. Use contrast, size, color, alignment, and other factors to make elements more prominent than others. This technique creates visual order and guides users through your design. This one sort of has a double focus, the same font, same weight, same size, but the art festival and free entry are equally important. But since we read left to right in English, you'll likely read art festival first. So the art festival, the hierarchy, visual hierarchy is art festival first, free entry, and event details. Usually your eye would go in that kind of a path. Here's another example. You can't miss what the message is here. The key is that if you're interested in this event, you'll take time to read the smaller details. This also has a nice use of negative space, and the center line approach is really effective. Proximity refers to the arrangement of design elements in relation to each other. Proximity is a powerful tool because it influences how people perceive those elements. When objects are placed closer together, they are perceived as being more related to each other than when they're farther apart. And as a designer, you can use that proximity to lead the viewer's eye through the image and therefore understand your message more clearly. So this is, you can sort of see the grouping of text makes the image more legible. It's very important when you have a lot of information. But don't be afraid to make some noise. Try something bold and different. So all of these principles are there to help you create an effective image. They're really great reference points when you're unsure of what to do. You can ask yourself, what principle of design applies here? So when I first started out, I learned about, I think there were 7 principles of design, but as I'm looking and researching for this workshop, I found places that said, oh, there's 34, there's 9, there's 7. So take it all with a grain of salt, and they are subjective, but it is very helpful to kind of know this information. Does anybody have any questions about the principles of design?
I don't see any Korean in the chat either, so But if
Sure.
something does come up, I'll interrupt.
Thanks. Okay. So, how much fun is Canva? Uh, have you explored some of the features they come out with? Has anybody been with Canva long enough to notice the major change they did in October? So they did a droptober, and it was quite a big change. I've never been with Canva. Okay, Mary, did you get your free uh, nonprofit version? Have you signed up for Canva at all, Mary? No? Totally recommend it. And you can get it for free. Okay. Oh no. Well, hopefully I can make Canva less frustrating, Debbie. Oh no. Okay. This will be interesting. Um, oh, you have the free account. Yeah, free account is great. It will be a little frustrating because you won't be able to access everything, but it's still great. So Canva has everything from video editing, including audio, a PowerPoint-like presentation function, which I'm using right now, to templates for everything you can think of, and from QR code generators and infographic templates to artificial intelligence. They have AI text, image, video, and audio generators. They now have a Dream Lab. You can do polls and quizzes, and there are work kits that can lead you through sort of work plans. Be sure to check those out. We're going to focus on the functions to create social media images, which Canva does so well today. But I hope you take time in the future to check out all the features Canva has and sign up for their newsletter, check out their video and post in their design school. It's canva.com/design school. They have really great, very simple um, uh, lessons, tutorials. They're one to 2 minutes long. I have a link of those on. I have a link on the resource page for those. But I'm going to get us off to a quick start and jump into where to begin when you're starting a design. One would think you'd jump into Canva right away, but one would be wrong. I thought I'd take you through the complete design process of creating a social media post, and this will work for posters as well. And along the way, we'll go over the functions and how to find things in Canva. So even before you get into designing, there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done, which is why we'll start with covering the basics. You can't have a good image without having good information. This way you have everything you need to create an image that resonates with your target audience. The first thing to consider is, what is your message? What kind of thing are you promoting? Is it a workshop, a fundraiser, a thank you to your sponsor? All those things will look very different. When you have that information, consider your audience and platform. Think about your demographics. Who are you trying to appeal to? Something that looks more corporate might not work when you're trying to get someone to attend a social. On the resource guide, there's a link to finding out about your demographics and what users are on what platform. But next, what is the look and feel you're going for? For example, if you're trying to convey a message on a heavier topic, maybe don't go with the sparkles and flashing text, just a thought, kind of obvious. But then what is your organization's look or brand, and how can you integrate that into your image? Branding is a form of messaging and helps tell the audience whose event it is as soon as they see it. There's practical stuff. Sometimes there's just text or images that you're obligated to include. For example, always remember to include logos, your organizations, and your sponsors. As nonprofits, we know how important that is. And don't forget your website address. And one final thing to keep in mind, design to meet your audience's need. Design for the diverse set of users who will interact with your image. There's a website content accessibility guidelines that they're WCAG, and they're a good place to start. There's a link to that in the resources as well, but we'll also look at the accessibility tool they have in Canva. So say you, the graphic artist, is asked to create a design, what happens next? Well, it's the text. This is a mock design brief, possibly typical of what you might get. Maybe the text is given to you, maybe you had to brainstorm and come up with it yourself. I'm not sure if you can tell from this, but what we know is that it's a fundraiser event for a nonprofit, with a DJ and bonus entertainment, and we need to make a social media post to promote it. And what do you notice about it? Right away, I can tell you there's too much information. People scroll. You need something to stop the scroll, or at least get them the information within 1 or 2 seconds. That's all you've got. There's repeated information, there's confusing text about how to buy tickets, and there's some fluff. For example, this event is open to everyone who enjoys a great time. You kind of want to get that information across in the color and visual movement of the image and not actually have to say it. If you need proof that the information needs to be edited down, this text will not fit on an Instagram square and be legible. Never mind have room for any visual elements. So what do? Really, you need to ask yourself what's important here. What is your CTA or call to action? What is the hierarchy of information and how can it be emphasized? And what text can be removed, the biggie. Here are 3 posters done in 3 very different styles. And what do you notice about the first 2 information? Well, there's not a lot of information, but really it's exactly the information you need. If you think about what you need to know is what the event is, when it is. If you aren't available that day, you can't go. Where it is, the location impacts if you're going to go or not. And finally, the cost, because cost can also be a factor. Frankly, when someone is scrolling by, you only have a few seconds to catch their eye. The design is the first thing to see, and the colors, the shapes, but the event name should be the most eye-catching thing on the page. If I had my way, the night market one would be a little brighter, but I still kind of like the vibe of that. The text should be large enough to read, and it should be something that captures the idea of what the event is all about. The third one is a classic from Woodstock, is an example of design rules that are meant to be broken. But again, this was also never a social media post. It was a poster and there was an option to stop and look at it in real life. So in light of this, I did some cutting on the text we have. And so I get to insert my evil grin here. I went through and ruthlessly cut the information down to what I feel is most important. I reorganized text and increased the font size based on the principles of visual hierarchy that we discussed earlier. Editing down the text to more of the basics will make it easier to fit into one image. Always remember that it needs to be legible to someone looking at their social media feed on their phone. I did take the title. I changed the title from a wonderful fundraising event to a fundraising social, as socials are pretty famous in Manitoba and people are generally excited about them. For extra reality and challenge, I added in a sponsor mention, you always need to mention your sponsors. It's still quite a lot, but now we can conceive that this information might possibly fit on an Instagram square. We have a bit of leftover text, and if we can squeeze that in, we will. So I'm not sure what anyone would have cut out more on this. But, detour time. I'm also going to take a slight detour to talk about the couple things that may not be obvious when first using Canva. I'm famous for my detours, as Camilla knows. But one thing I wanted to note is they started something fairly new recently. When you first open an image that's already built in canva.com, the file kind of pops up and it's not actually fully open. You'll see this sort of blue bar on the top. If you want to just double click the file in that window, it opens up in that window. If you click on the symbol in the top left, it looks like this. It'll open it up in a new tab, or if you click X in the top right, it will close that window and it kind of goes back to your home page. So sometimes that can be confusing if you're not used to that situation. And if I haven't mentioned it before, it bears repeating. I can't stress how helpful this is. Canva has an amazing chatbot that can help you with many of the questions you might have. And you can find it at the bottom right-hand corner of your Canva browser screen. It can have a whole conversation. It's actually apologized to me for gave me some information and realized it was incorrect. So it was it's quite good. And the third thing I'm going to be mentioning is the term hex code. I used the term hex code quite a bit in this workshop. It's just the naming system for the colors that Canva uses. If you have a color that's named in a different format, for example, RGB, that's for screens, or CMYK for print. It's easy to search in your web browser for a site that will convert your code to a hex format, to the hex code format. And I'll just demonstrate how to find your colors in the hex code format in a live Canva document. So I'm going to switch out, excuse me, while I work on sharing my other screen. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Did I switch successfully?
Yes, you have, Corinne.
Okay. There we go. I'm just going to size it up. All right. In Canva, once you click on an object, it has to have an editable color. The color selector will appear in this floating toolbar. And if you click on that, the swatch, this panel, this document colors panel will slide out and you can choose different colors. There's colors that it picks up from photos, default colors, gradients. But if you want to know what the hex code is, you can click on, this is the one with the light purple outline here, is the color that you've actually selected. So if you click on that, you can see this is your hex code. You can also, if you want to add a new color, and that'll add another color swatch to the panel, you can see your hex code here or paste in another color's hex code, and that color will pop up. While I'm here, I've got, this looks like a circle on top of the square. It is not. It's actually underneath the square. So one other good thing to know, a little bit of maybe an advanced tip, but if you click on this and then you hit Control or Command on a Mac, you can actually select the thing underneath and move it around. It's good when you have a little more elements in your design. So the kind of bonus tip here is if you press Edit here, you can actually change the shape. So say you want a star, you can do that. Any type of shape that you want in here. So let's get back from my detour. We have to focus. Let's get back to our social media image. Here I've put the edited text on an Instagram square. I've separated the text into text boxes. So each of these things in its own little box, which is the way Canva works. So you can move these things around. You can change the text and the color in them. You change the color here again. I should note that manipulating text is not like working with text in a Word document. Text automatically comes up in its own text box, as I said, and it resizes to the amount of text you had. So I've got the text from the social media post here. I have some of the principles of visual hierarchy going on. If you kind of squint, you can sort of see the title, the date, the cost. Those are the things that are a little larger and you see those more clearly. I could give DJ Nightfall a bit bigger font if they were a big deal. In general, the clarity is not bad, but it can use improvement. This definitely doesn't look like a fun event yet. We're finally getting to the design part, and there's two ways of building a design. You can create your own or use a template. To create your own, you can use things in this editor side panel, which is on the side. They're under elements. The elements is packed full. Elements tab is packed full with great things. So you can see that it has your recently used things. It has shapes, graphics, AI image generators, stickers, photos, video, audio, charts, polls and quizzes. Don't get too excited about the polls and quizzes. Those only work within Canva. I was hoping it could be a Facebook thing, but there's tables, these frames you can drop images in and have different shapes for your photos. There's grids, there's mock-ups. Yeah, there's all that in a whole bunch more in here. You can use text. This is a text bar, so you can drop in your heading. They're doing page numbers now, which is great. They've got a few pre-made font combinations and designs, so that's can also be used as inspiration, and you can make those your own. You can use your own uploads or here. I recommend, like, I actually keep folders of different uploads. Like I have all of our staff, I have logos, and those are in folders so that I can find them easy. This uploads folder is sort of just a dumping ground for everything. So you might want to create your own folder. We'll be talking about that later. And put your items in that folder that you can find quite easily. Let's see, there's the projects tab, which we'll talk about later. So there's audio and video. There's a whole lot in here. So, but if you're not confident about your design skills, or you just don't feel like reinventing the wheel, sometimes a blank page is daunting, you can use one of Canva's thousands of templates and make it your own. You go under the design icon in the sidebar and you can do a search. So the design icon is right at the top, and you can use the search bar to type in some words, do a search. You can filter your search if you're looking for a particular color. They sort of give general colors. You can search by color. You can also search by language, useful. But we have got, this is kind of like a baking show when a lot of things are pre-baked. So I've actually found this image, and I've chosen it because it has a nice space for a photo, space for date and time, and there is also a good space here for information. So plus, when I think of socials, I kind of think of the 80s and 90s, and this gives me that vibe. But the photo is all wrong, and we need to add our information. So I'm going to duplicate this. So if you want to insert a new page below the current page, you can click on this Add Page button. If you want to duplicate the page, there's a duplicate page on the other side of the trash can. So I'm going to duplicate the page, and you can upload a picture here. But what if you don't have a great photo of DJ Nightfall, or it just not maybe doesn't have a professional photo of themselves? So you can go in and go into Elements, and you can search for, here's my recent search. Canva gives all my secrets away, but you can do a search and you can come up with graphics, photos, or videos. But I already sort of have chosen one. So I'm going to get out of the search. And where is it? Oh, hey. I have, sorry, see, look at me. Usually the thing comes up. Oh boy. Anyways, I have a picture that I've chosen, and here we go. I'm going to detach it from the image. There's two ways of a picture. I don't, sorry. Is it morning? I'm going to search for my DJ picture. I will search for it. Here we go.
Do you want to re-explain that? Like, to find the image, you do need to go into Elements to then search that image.
Right.
Did you want to just like redo that quickly?
Sure. So to find a picture of a DJ, you can go under Elements, search for DJ. I've got my recent search, and then I wanted a photo, so see all. Here's the photo that I was looking for. So you can either click on it and it will just drop it into the image, or if you, I'm going to trash that. There's a little trash button here. If you take it and you just slide it in, it'll actually replace the photo that you had previously, if it was in a frame. So if it's not quite in the right position, so I'm going to pull it down. So there we go. I'm still not liking the photo, but I don't know if you noticed, I can't move it left or right because there isn't any laterals, there's no image to the left or right. So, I can solve this. What I can do, there's my image here. What I can do is just bring the image onto a page, and oops, there we go. And I'm going to delete this one. Oops. And I'm going to position this up to the corner. All right, so now here comes a bit of magic. You go under the edit in the floating toolbar. There we are, took a little while. And you get this panel that comes out, and it's the Magic Studio. And it has a ton of great things, like the background remover. Honestly, it's easier than Adobe. You can just do that. Doesn't turn out great because everything is quite dark, but I'm going to undo that. They have the Magic Eraser. If you want to, if you got a stray odd bit on your photo and you don't want it there, you can do that. Magic Grab actually moves the object from place to place. You can grab text. This Magic Edit is pretty interesting. I actually had a photo of a woman and I didn't like the pendant she was wearing, so I wanted a little heart pendant. And so you can actually just select that pendant and ask it, like type in what I want, a heart pendant, and it actually did a really realistic heart pendant on there. It was pretty cool. But what we're actually looking for, so my detour again, is the Magic Expand. And there's a couple choices in here. There's freeform, whole page, and one-to-one. I'm actually just going to do freeform. So you can grab these little white corners, slide it across to fill up the page. And I actually give it a little more room because, well, you'll find out in a second why I give it a little more room, but I'll put a little more on either side. So then all you have to do is press expand. And it'll take a minute or so. It gives you a few choices here. And depending on how angry my computer is at me on the day, but if you don't like what you get, you can always refresh it and choose again. But I don't know, do we have a drum roll? Oh, there we are. Okay, so it's also good for a giggle because you never know what's going to show up on the left-hand side. Sometimes you have lurkers. Okay, we're waiting for another couple. Hopefully, oh, let's see this one. Oh, I'm not sure. Looks like an alien being going on here. Let's see. Come on, number 4. Hopefully we get something we like. AI is not perfect, let me tell you, but it's, yeah, oh yeah, that's not great either. Anyways, we'll move on to the one that I actually pre-done. So this one is quite good. It does have a little bit of a lurker, but that's why I sort of gave it extra space to hide my lurker. And there's a little bit of an issue with the gradient, but we can work with that. You can use artificial intelligence to just create a background. Again, it has issues with generating people. You have to watch the hands and faces, and sometimes an extra arm gets in there. But if you opt for a more abstract image, you can maybe come up with something suitable.
Maureen, I'm just going to cut you off there for a quick second because we did get a question that was related to the photo above. The question is, can you change the colors in the photo using this tool? Like, let's say you really don't like that purple and you want to change the purple.
Ooh, that's foreshadowing. I'm actually going to cover that. Yeah, you could, if you're going under just creating an image from scratch, you can choose the colors. And I guess I'm not sure, I've never tried it with a filter and then AI generate it, but I am going to fix the issue and that'll come up in just a couple of slides. So yeah, anyways, this creating an AI background is just a little detour that you might want to try. It's a lot of fun to do just for fun. But okay, so now we've got the design with all the information that we talked about placed into the original template, but I'm not just not happy with it. It's too busy. There's too much information. The important information doesn't stand out like it should. Plus, it's missing the sponsor mention. And we can sort of think about the principles of design and how we can apply them. Again, my favorite ones, the alignment, the white space, the balance, the visual hierarchy. Yeah, I don't know. There's things that we could eliminate. But the one thing also is that I'm concerned about, the text maybe not standing out quite as well as it could. So I'm, of course, doing another little detour. There are some techniques to make your text stand out. And this design we have actually has a few solutions, but here are a few options to consider. So you want to choose your fonts and colors wisely. Make sure that the font is not too thin and there's enough contrast between the font and the background colors. So it needs to be a legible font. There's a lot of fonts out there. They're not all made to be read for some reason. Use all caps sparingly, especially when using a script or specialty font. I don't know if you can, I can't even read that. But some ways to make fonts legible is that you can put a shape behind your text with a very contrasting color, and that'll make your text stand out. These three actually have effects on them. So if you click on the text box, go under effects, there's a bunch of effects here. This is got the shadow effect, and sometimes you can do a lighter or darker. I've got it at 100% to make sort of a maximum pop. This one has splice. You can choose different colors in it. And this one has the lift, and I wouldn't go too hard with the intensity. Usually 50 or less is a good place to be. And then the next thing is gradients. This whole thing has a bit of a gradient behind it, and that can help your text stand out. So if that's with the gradient, that's without. And gradients are super useful, and I love them. So of course, my detour includes gradients and transparencies. Gradients and transparencies can be used to create a more interesting background, to mute a busy background so that you can add text on top, and to lift a photo or shape from the background, sort of to act like a drop shadow. So they come in sort of two flavors in Canva. There's sort of a pre-made one, so you can go under in your Elements tab. You can go and look under, close the search. So you can click on gradients, or click on the search bar and search for gradients. And you will get a bunch of pre-made ones. And one like this one here is not editable. You can make it larger or smaller, but you can't actually change the colors or direction of the gradient. So you can tell that by, there is no swatch to choose here. So you can, if you want, my workarounds, I always have a workaround. You can use one of the filters, or here and try, there's some changes that you can do this way. They're a little bit, maybe not as robust, not as many choices, but you can also use, this is the foreshadowing bit here. You can use duotones. You can choose an entire different gradient in here, or it's actually sort of a filter, an intense filter over the shape, and you can switch the colors using this panel as well. So this shape is also a pre-built shape, so you can't change the shape, but here it shows the swatches on the floating toolbar, and that way you can change the color. So this one, you can change the color here. And the third is, if you just have a shape, you can go into the color swatch here on the floating toolbar. It pulls out the document colors. You can choose from one of these pre-made gradients, or you can go, this is again, this is the color that we have. We can start a new color gradient by going into the plus, and it's kind of hidden, but there's the solid color. And if you click to the right of the panel, you automatically get, and this is never my favorite color. So you get a gradient situation. You can decide which type of gradient you want. They give you a few different options, and then you can change the color. So because it's never my favorite, I actually have all my hex codes on there's a sticky notes app on a PC. So I have a little sticky note on my my computer screen, and I can actually change the color. Oops, I'm going to go with this one, a dark blue. I can grab my hex code quickly and paste it in there. And so then I got this, but maybe you want to add another color in there. So you can use the slider, change the color that way. You can also change the transparency of it so that it becomes a little more clear, which would be useful over photos. Ooh, this is not a great transparency or a great gradient, but you can change that up here. Yeah, still not great, but anyways, you get the idea. This is an example of how gradients can help you out a lot, because this picture is quite busy. You cannot read the text. It's difficult to read the text. That's not helped by the thin font. We discussed that before, but I have a gradient that goes from full color to no color. And if you put the gradient behind, you still get a peek at the picture, but then you can also read your thank you, your message. Oops, all the way down. There we go. So is there any questions anybody has about gradients or transparencies? Drink of water. Here we go. All right. So here's what I've done. Back to the social media, detour over. I've grouped the information into blocks for sort of an alignment situation here. I gave DJ a little more emphasis by giving a little bit of white space around and putting a color into his name. I wanted to emphasize the activities before it was down at the bottom. So I've brought it up here and put a little shape behind it. I've tucked the sponsor information down here. There likely should be a logo, but we're not, it's a workshop, so we're not doing that right at the moment. Maybe you've taken this to your ED and they think this looks great, but it's not your brand colors. What do? So I'm going to go here. I saw that somebody had the brand kit built for them, so that's great. So they'll know this. But if for those of you that don't know, you can click on the home page. There's the brand kit, and you can go up to the brand kits that has brand templates and brand controls. We're going for the brand kit. Super easy to add a brand kit. You just go up to the right, add new. You can name your brand kit demo for this purpose, and you can create it. You can drop your logos in here, your colors. You can add colors, as many as you want. You can add in your title. You click on here. You can choose a font. Say it's League Spartan. You maybe want it bigger than this. Choose the size. So you can fill out each of these things. So it makes creating an image quite easy. You can talk about brand voice. So if you want to put in there that your brand is warm and friendly, any AI that text that you generate will come up in that brand voice. You can drag photos, graphics, icons, all of this in here. And you can actually share it. So you can actually, if you have, I don't know how many people here have many departments in their organization, or if you just have different sort of projects that you regularly go to. You can have a look for each of them, and you can create a brand kit for each of them. Apparently, you can have up to 2,000 brand kits, each with 2,000 assets. So you have room. So I'm going to go back to the brand kits. You can see our old one, our current one, and our demo one. If you don't want this anymore, you can delete it like that. And so, yes, I understand this action can't be undone, sorry. So there we go. So in order to actually make the brand kit work for you, you go into I'm now into a document, an image again, and you go into your brand. And I'm actually, yeah, here we go. Oh, right. Let me catch up with myself. It is a pro feature. Did I tell you that? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to apply the brand colors. So here we have our image. We go under brand, and we can take individual pieces and go up under our swatches. And this is our brand kit here. If we want to switch, we can switch. Use our old one. Don't feel like it right now, so I'm not going to. But you can click and it'll switch over. But say you wanted this to be orange, you can change all. So everything that is pink would change to orange just by hitting this button. But since I have like 45 pages in here, I'm not going to do that. But say that like that's kind of annoying to actually have to hit every item and change it. So what you can do is you can come over here on this strip and click shuffle. And sometimes this comes up with good things, and sometimes it's kind of interesting. So you can click through and try different things, and it doesn't pick up the photo if you notice. So I've gone through and I've done my shuffle here, and I've come up with something I like. I wanted social to remain white because I think, you know, it's key to sort of standing out. So what to do next? If you like, I don't know how long you can look at this, but pink and orange can occasionally go together, but this is just not working for me. So we're going to go in here. Oops, there's my lurker. And we're going click on the photo. And this is where we go into the duotones. You can edit the photo, go under duotone here. You can choose something that's close to your brand colors, and then go in and change the colors to be what you want. So I've kind of done that. And in the end, this image is incorporating the brand colors, and I've angled the text for sort of a more dynamic look. I was inspired by one of the images we looked at earlier. Did I mention I'm an intuitive person? Like I'll keep doing different things, and I usually end up taking it to Camilla or Ashley and going, which one do you like? But anyways, so now comes the test. We talked about accessibility, and we want to check to see how this design lives up to its standards. So it goes under File, Accessibility, check Design Accessibility, and this will take a second. And it'll come up with sort of a shocking amount of accessibility issues, but it's doing all 43 pages. And I will, before you get upset by the alt text situation, there's 143 issues. Unfortunately, if you go through and change them here and then download it as a JPEG and then upload it into Facebook, all that work disappears. It does not transfer. So just ignore the alternative text issue and do it on Facebook itself.
Brian, do you want to explain what alternative text is? I think there might be some people that don't know what that is in social media accessibility land.
Yeah, it's important, and it's coming up. The States has it as accessibility as law, and it's slowly coming to Canada. But alternative text actually gives people with vision issues a way to identify what's going on in the image, as well as a way for search engines to recognize what the images are. So it's actually a good thing when you have it on your website or whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, again, if you take time to do it here, it won't translate when you download it to social media. So I want to check this. I'm at page 19 here. I'm going to look at the color contrast because that's one of the things you need to have enough color contrast so that people with low vision or color blindness can actually see it. So if this is page 2, I'm going to go look for page 18 or 19. That's what I was at. Here we go, 18. So I'm going to show you a little trick that actually came with this template that I had. There's 18. There we go. So it's saying we're at page 19 and I'm at page 19. So there's low contrast text. Low contrast text. I want to do this. So there's a bunch of low contrast text here. So and it shows you here, it kind of highlights the different blocks that I have low contrast. So my little trick of the day is the original file actually had, if you lower this, my lurker, if you actually lower this picture, you can see that it has a dark background. I'm going to raise that back up. And if you go onto the floating toolbar, use the transparency and lower it by, I found out, by 80%, all of your accessibility issues go away. So kind of a neat thing. Other ways you can do it, again, are those tips, that whole sheet of making your text stand out. But I'm going to do it the easy way. I'm going to do just with the fade. So this is, so hopefully this looks like a fun event that people will come to, but it's a social media post, so we need a caption. And of course, Canva can help you with captions. I don't know if anybody's used a AI text generator. Canva has one, it's called Magic Write. And if you haven't used it, I'm about to maybe rock your world, I don't know. I've taken the text from the social media, or I've taken all the text from the image, and I've added a prompt. A prompt is telling AI what to do with your text. So acting as a social media expert, a lot of times it's good to say, you can say, acting as an HR person and write a letter to somebody. But in this case, we're acting as a social media expert, write a social media caption for this text and include hashtags. So one thing Canva has changed is that this text doesn't automatically pop up or populate when you use Magic Write. So I actually highlight it and Control C, I'm copying it. Magic Write is this little fancy pencil right here in the contextual menu. And you can continue writing, you can shorten it, you can rewrite it, you can make it more fun, more formal. You can sprinkle fairy dust, which is completely silly, good for a giggle. You can change your voice. So if you have brand voices in here, you can change the voice. You can fix your spelling, but I'm going with custom prompt, and I'm going to paste my text in there, click generate, and it's gonna do its thing. You can change it, you can do more like this, you can do this but shorter or with certain words taken out or whatever you want. You can copy the text. I'm going to add the text below. So here we got our social media caption. Let's just enlarge it a bit. I'm going to go up here to increase the text size. So join us for an unforgettable night at Amazing Nonprofit's 10th annual fundraising social. The date, all that. Get ready for an evening filled with fun, games, delicious food, cornhole, mini golf, and photo booth. Plus, dance the night away with our special guest, DJ Nightfall. A huge thank you for making to our generous sponsor and for making this event possible. Don't miss out. Grab your tickets today, and it's got a bunch of hashtags down here. So we have a caption, pretty easy, but I have to. It's not perfect. I actually really highly suggest that you just use this for inspiration. Make some changes. You can. Well, actually, one of the big things is to make sure the information is all correct, because AI can just make things up. Um, and make sure that the hashtags go to places that are relevant. AI often uses the word additionally, so you replace that right away. It's for sure it's a dead giveaway that AI has been used. Does anybody else do other people use AI text generators? And have you got any other dead giveaways that AI has been used? It's kind of funny. Once you know, and you kind of can see it going on in people's captions and on websites and things like that. But I don't know if anybody else has are there people out there who have never used AI text generators? Okay, not yet. Looks interesting. It is pretty interesting. Like, it's super great if you want to just brainstorm too. Like, you can just ask it, give me 5 tips on using Canva, or brainstorm what image should go with this text. Give me 10 ideas for images to go with this text. But it's often good to ask it to write as an expert, or yeah. Oh, that's good. I used it to generate name suggestions for events and programs. Yeah, you can get some pretty wacky ones, but a lot of times if you take a little of A and a little of B, it works out really well. Yeah, one thing that you might want to check is sometimes if you're doing long documents, it can say the same things over in different ways, and it's actually not saying anything at all, kind of thing. But it is, I'd use it for inspiration for the text that you do post. And it's actually very handy if you've got an awkward email and you don't know what to say. You can respond to somebody. Yeah, it's handy in a lot of ways. So you know that this is social media and there are captions. Maybe some of the information can just be in the captions. So I went a little rogue, and I pared down the information even more. So here we go. Taking out a bunch of things. I'm going to close this accessibility panel. It does slow down processing a bit. So I've gone and taken a bunch of things out of here, because it's always good to take a step back and what is good to be included on the image and what information is just fine being in the caption. We also always have to remember that this is social media and it does come with a caption. We hope that the image is interesting enough and it gets people to look for the fine print, like where to get tickets. And if we're concerned, we can add a QR code for those that are looking at this on a desktop and want to check out the website. They might take their phone and use the QR code, or maybe instead of the QR code in this situation, you can that aged 18 plus text could go there. Is there anyone who's on team more text and who's on team less is more? Do you feel that there should be all of the information? I guess with posters, you do need that. But for a social media post, do you think that it needs to be on one page? Yeah, it is a thing, isn't it? It's less is more. Woohoo. Yeah. So for people who struggle with too much copy that's long and detailed, you can actually ask AI to shorten it, which it's impartial and it'll just make some decisions and you might be pleased with those. The other option is that you can create slides, so have more than one image, and put the people will hopefully they'll be so excited about the first slide that they'll click through to the next slides. Okay, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to see who wants all the text, and then yeah, I think it might be something that it needs to be get used to, kind of thing. But for fun, I took, did I mention I was iterative? I took one of the images from the Principles of Design and I replicated it here. So this is another option for an image. It's pretty moody. But so now that we have the Instagram post, we may also want to post it on Facebook. So it's time to use the resize button. Of course, Canva has a quick trick for this as well. So the resize button is found in the top left on this, the top toolbar. It's resize, and I'm just going to take a peek here. It's page 23 because I don't want to resize all 43 pages of my thing. So you get a bunch of resize options that pop up first. And they're ones that I use often. So this is actually our website banner. So you can do a custom size here. You can do a social media post. You can choose by the type of post. We're going to go into the Facebook. We want a Facebook post landscape. We're going to click this. It says one size selected. And do I want to do all 35 pages? I want to 35 here. No, we do not. So I'm going to click on, so I don't have to click individually. There's usually a box at the top that says all pages. Click that off, and we're going to scroll down to page 23. Click that one. Done. Copy and resize. And this takes a little moment here. And but it's worth the wait. You can take a sip of water during that time. So we're going to open the Facebook post. It opens in a new tab. My computer's, of course, angry.
Corinne, while your computer's loading, because there was a lot of comments saying people were designing posters and print, I'm wondering if you could show, like, demo how to resize for like a poster for print and then how someone can print from Canva.
Sure.
Would that be possible?
Yeah, that is, I actually go over the print things at the end.
Oh, do you? Okay, never mind.
But I will maybe resize for
print.
For print, yeah.
Yeah, but then you can talk about print later.
Yeah, there's a whole list of things here, but okay. So it's my computer has popped this up. So it's actually pretty good to begin with. It's a great start. There's a few things like the alignment is a little bit off here. There's quite a bit of space. So we can fix that by, we can make sure if you grab it, if you just go like this and grab everything, I don't really want to move this tear strip. So I'm going to lock it down. Here we go. You can just press this little lock and then you won't move it. I'm just going to make sure this is locked. You can tell it's locked by, it has the little lock on there. So I'm just going to grab this information here and leave DJ where he is. And if you hold down Shift and while you're moving, it'll keep it aligned horizontally in the direction of wherever you're moving. So I think I'm going to go about here. I'm going to do the same for this. I'm going to move it to the left. And once you get that little dotted line, that means you're kind of lined up to something. So we're doing the alignment principle. I'm going to grab all of these guys, just and again, hold Shift and move it sideways. But I'd actually like this to be level with the orange shape there. So I'm gonna go upwards. And once I get that little dotted line, I know that I'm in line. Actually, this is a good point too. If you want to line things up, you can go under File, Settings, Show Rulers and Guides, and they were there. I just made them disappear, but you can push, I guess it's Shift R, and Shift R is the shortcut that brings them back. And so you can use the guides and check to make sure things are lined up. If you have a guide on there, it doesn't show when it's printed or whatever. It's just kind of annoying. So I'm going to take that out of the way. I'm going to make the social, there's 3 levels on 3 layers on the social to give this effect. I copied it from the inspiration thing. So it came with 3 layers. So I'm going to move this around. It's a little bit difficult to move it on an angle, so because everything is on an angle. So my other little trick is if you hold Control or Command on a Mac, it actually, like if as I was moving it before, it was kind of jumping, trying to line itself up horizontally, and I was annoyed at that. So I hold down Control, and it actually allows you to put it wherever you want. So I'm going to eyeball it, put it in here, and I'm going to enlarge it here because I want it to be extra visible. Anyways, so basically we have a Facebook post in what? How long was that? 3 minutes? I don't know. So yeah, don't tell my ED this, that, it's actually quite easy to make one from one to the other, but here we go. Yeah, so this is a social media post. And if you hook up your social media to Canva, haven't done that yet, I should, you can actually schedule and post from Canva. Mean to do that. But see, did I cover all my points? Yeah, oh, if we wanted to make this into something else, let's resize this. We'll take a little detour on our detour. Print products here. Say we want to make this into a poster. It's a big poster. Let's just make it into a, let's make it into a, just a 8.5 by 11 page. So you can, oh, there's 8.5 by 11, but in order to do that, we can change this to inches. We can do 8.5, tab over, my caps on there, number lock on there, 8.5 by 11. Okay, so then we can, I'm just going to resize this design. There we go. So it gives you a bit of a preview. What I found when I'm resizing, I find it easier to go from the Instagram square to a Facebook post as opposed to the other way around, just random. Maybe that's just me, but you'll find you'll get into a workflow that you'll find if you're resizing from one style of image to another, you'll see what. To make sure this is locked, and I can just move things around to make it more. And then there's more space for other things. We can enlarge this. It's locked. To unlock it, you just click on that. We can go. We could have put a little white block in there just to hide it. But anyways, so that's resizing to a poster. Hope that's helpful. I'm going to close that off. We're going to go back to, ooh, this is exciting. Does anybody have any questions at this point, or how are we doing for time here? Oh, we're good.
We're doing good for time, but let's just have a moment to see if there's any questions. There's nothing in the chat, but if anyone wanted to.
Okay.
I don't see anyone's questions or their hand up, so.
Yeah, right. So next up, again, this is social media. We want to take advantage of the fact that social media allows for video. So we're going to add animation or video to our text or to our image. I've gone back to the Instagram size here just for the fun. And there are a bunch of ways to generate video content. So I'm just going to enlarge this. The enlargement is on the bottom here. A little too large. There we go. So catch up with myself. If you don't have Canva Pro, or if you're just looking to spice things up, there are a number of sites offering content. There's Pixabay, Unsplash, Pexels. Those are pretty popular ones, but just discovered something called PocStock.com for diverse images. They're just starting out, so it's not as robust, but it's something to keep your eye on. You can use animated stickers, but please do me a favor, don't overuse. You don't want your images to look like the 2025 version of 90s clip art, unless you do. But animating your text is very fun and can make any image into a video just by animating the text. Again, use sparingly. There is a record yourself option. It's more of a presentation styles, and it's available on the Google Chrome browser. It's in the presentation tool under the share button. So it's video time. So the first and easiest way to create a video is to animate your text. But warning, it's easy to stray into cheese. So use text animation sparingly. Stick to one, maybe two types of animation style per image, and keep them consistent if you have multiple slides. You want to tighten up your text box to just fit the text, as most of the animations utilize the whole text box. So what I'm talking about here is if I choose this, you can see the text box sort of extends beyond, and you just want to pull that in. So I'm going to add some animation. So you can choose something. I'm going to choose social. One of the things that has come up is that if you're exporting a video, sometimes the thumbnail or will catch the animation at kind of an awkward moment. Sometimes it'll catch it before the animation happens, so that you just have a blank page, or a blank space where the word social would be, and that's not ideal when you're scrolling on Instagram. What's really good workaround is if you have layers of text. So if you want to see what kind of layers I've got going on here, I've clicked on position in this floating toolbar. You can arrange and send things to the front or backwards. This is at the front, so you can send it backwards. You can align it in different ways. But if you go under this next tab, the layers, you can check out all the layers that go into building this image. You can see here that these ones are grouped so that they sort of stick together and move together. But here's the social. So I've got this, and then you can go under animate, and you can animate your page. If you go under here, there's magic animate. There's all sorts of things that you can do. So when you animate your page, it's sort of all heck breaks loose and things are moving everywhere. I don't use this a lot. So I just usually go with the text animation, but it gives you all sorts of different options for that. Some of them so I like block a lot. I use that a lot. You can pan, you won't see faded in. You can pop it. That's fun. Maybe try pop. Drift it in. That's not very, there's neon. So it kind of does a neon thing. Scrapbook sort of slides everything in. I'm going to use stomp. It's kind of makes an impression. If you scroll down a little bit, the animation can come in at when it enters, when your video first starts playing, or when it stops playing, it can make the animation. You can do it on both. A lot of times I just like to do when on enter. Depends on the situation. If you don't want the animation, you can remove it here and it's gone. So I'm going to do this little bit of stomp. So now this is actually a video. Like you can do a whole bunch of things. Like I might, include a bunch of other animations on this page or not. But in this, for this demonstration purpose, I'm just going to do the one. And in order to sort of see it, you press up here in the top toolbar, the purple toolbar here. You can press play, and it comes up for dramatic effect. I'm going to stop it, close it. So it was just a thing that came up immediately. So if you've got more than one slide, or if you create a video, you can sort of layer the different animations, and you can have a lot of fun with it. Just trust me. I spend a lot of time having a lot of fun with it. Shh, don't tell Ashley. So I am going to, let's see if I caught up to myself. Yeah. You download this as an MP4 as it's more useful. You can use it as a GIF, so it would just repeat over and over. But for social media, Facebook doesn't allow GIFs, for example. You can sound if you like, and then I'll talk about audio when we get into adding video clips. So we're going to move into animating video. You search for video in the editor side panel. So it is under elements, but there is also a version here. It'll pop up. I'm going to go with this because this is kind of, you can search again for the videos. Again, you can do the filter for color, for format, for free or pro. That's useful here for those that don't have pro yet. I highly recommend it as a nonprofit to get it for free. But so I'm going to just, again, if you click on it, it just drops in. I'm going to trash it. If you slide it in, it's going to go into the background. Again, if you double click, you can adjust where he does most of his head bopping. And yeah, you've made a video, really. But I'm going to go into this. You should actually, if you were in a hurry, this would do. This video is going to last 11.7 seconds. And I know this because in this floating toolbar, there is a timeline. If you click on it, you can adjust the length of the video, and you can sort of adjust it to where you want it to be. If you're doing something particularly fancy and you want to capture that moment, but I'm just going to leave that out. Okay, but really you should be editing in a timeline view, and this is the scroll view, so you're going to see things one over the other. To get the timeline view, you go through, it's a little bit of a process. You go through the thumbnail view, which is in this bottom left, or sorry, bottom right, my other left. So you click on that, and it comes up with a thumbnail view, and you can actually add pages here. I'm actually, for demo purposes, I'm going to move these two things back, so you can just drag things around in here. In the scrolling view, you can move them around by these arrows. So if I wanted to, move this one down, you could. But we're going back to the thumbnail view. And this is a little bit of a hidden feature. If you clicked duration, I don't know if everybody can see this, it's on the lower left, the actual left. It actually springs up into a timeline like you would see in Premiere or any video editing software. And you can press play to play it here. So say we wanted to, since we have video, we had that information about the games, the food, the cornhole, mini golf, that information. What if we wanted to add that information back in here? But also, what if we didn't want to interrupt his dancing and it just looks like he continuously dances the whole time? So what we can do is actually, you could just shorten this down, put this slide in, duplicate this slide, and put it at the end. But of course, I'm going to be fancy here. I'm going to put approximately 1/3 of the way in. I'm going to have this timeline indicator here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to split the page. And now we've made 2 slides, but he'll dance his way through. It looks like there's no interruptions if you play it. So we're going to do that again here. So we get a little bit of a storyline. We're going to go and right click it, split the page. We're going to move the timeline indicator over the middle one just so that it indicates this. We're going to remove some of the text. So you just click on text boxes. This is all together. So we got to choose all of them. And of course, my pre-baked cooking show situation. I've grouped these items for ease of use or to move them, but you can ungroup them and group them here. So if you select multiple items. You can group them, they move as one. So I'm going to copy this thing, Control C, Command C on a Mac, and I'm going to go back to my image. I'm going to just paste it on, and Canva kind of does it wherever you took it from. So if I had it nicely placed before, but I'm going to place it here. You can position it. Go back to the arrange here. Oh, I'm in the center. That's good. Canva's handy because it sort of gives you guidelines as the little dotted lines or a solid red line sometimes to let you know when you're centered. So this is kind of on top of this white piece here. So I'm going to go back into layers. I'm going to drag this down to under the white chunk of image, but over the video. So then now that's hidden behind there. I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to check to see. This has got 2 layers in here. So I'm going to animate the top layer. I'm going to give it just a block text, make it easier. I'm going to have it animate in and out. And then the next fancy thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the text that is animated and show element type timing. So all of a sudden you get an extra bit on your timeline, and you can adjust when the animation happens. And from experience, I know that I should shorten it on each end, because I'm going to show you my next fancy trick, which is if you click between the things, you get this little icon. You can add a page here, but this fancy D situation, if you click on that, you get transitions, which means when it goes from one slide to another, it'll do something fancy. So you can do a color wipe. I don't recommend that one. That's highly into the cheese factor. You can do a color wipe. You can do a line wipe. You can do stacked. There's a whole bunch of things. I am just going to do a line wipe, I think. Okay, and then we can change the direction of it, so it can go up or down or sideways, other ways. But we can actually apply it between all pages, which you scroll down, it's applied between all pages. It comes up. We don't need it here, so I'm going to just do none for that one. So we're getting there. One last thing every good video needs is some audio. So we can go into this audio tab here, or we can find it under the Elements tab. You can go see all. You can search for the type of, say you want a DJ music. So you can get sound effects, or you want the air sound or air horn, or you can get music. You can choose if you want it to be free or pro. You can actually usually choose between instrumental or having voices. But here we go. If you want to just listen to the music, you click on the thumbnail here. If you want to drop it in to the timeline to add it to your video, make sure your timeline indicator is where you want the music to start, which in my case, I want it to start at the beginning. So I'm going to put it here, and we get it tells you it's 3 minutes and 35 seconds long. So it's quite long in here. You can see I'm just going to shorten it down to this. And because this is a pre-baked cooking show, I have no idea what this music sounds like really. So I'm just going to delete it. I have some music over here. I'm just going to slide it along the timeline, toss it in here, and show you a couple more things. When you click on just the audio timeline, this purple here, contextual toolbar pops up. You can split the audio, you can trash it, you can split it, you can adjust it, which means if you have a particular song and you want that part in the music, you can adjust it here. You can do a fade, which means it'll fade in or out, and that can be useful. It gives you a more polished look or sound. But if it's a really short video, you don't want that for it to be too long. Otherwise, you won't hear anything at all. But we've got 11 point or whatever seconds. So I have a fade on it. But the fancy thing and the really fun thing is this beat sync. You can sync this now, and what it'll do is actually put the beats of the music to be in sync with what's going on the screen. So it changed the amount of time. I'm not really happy about that. You can adjust that yourself. I go through a lot of times and adjust the position itself, but for this case, we're gonna go for it. We could play it this way, but of course, being dramatic, I want to do the presentation mode, which is at the top here. And it's going to buffer. I'm going to pull it back so we get the full effect. Well, so we can, that's when I would make those adjustments. I'd make this longer to make sure it was seen and do that. But anyways, I would share this, click on here, share this as an MP4. So download here, an MP4 video. We don't want all 7 pages. We just want our current page, our first 3 pages, slides here, and you click done, and then it would, and then you click done and you can download it. Whew, that was a lot. Yeah, did I cover everything? Do we have questions? That's
we do, Corrine, in the chat. One of the questions is, so by seeing some of this, I'm thinking that, my goodness, thinking that Canva Pro replaces Wondershare. Do you think Canva will be around for the long time? Nothing is worse than getting the hang of it and it changes. We've already seen some comments come back to like, bring in their 2 cents. But, you as someone that's been in the design world for a long time, and you've seen a lot of platforms, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't see Canva going anywhere for years. No, they have been, I believe it's over 10 years. I think the 10-year anniversary was last year. It's an amazing platform. They're lovely people. It was started by a woman in Australia who wanted something that was affordable other than the Adobe suite. They give back. They have a lot of they, I think, plant trees and build schools. They're lovely people, and I don't want to see them go anywhere. But no, I think they just keep getting better and better. And it shows that Adobe is doing, like, copying the things that Canva is doing. So they're leading the pack. And I'm not sure of Wondershare. That's interesting. I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, I hadn't either. So I had to do a quick Google search as well. Looks very similar to, it's like Adobe Canva type of situation.
Okay. Yeah, there are actually a lot of platforms out there that you can get online for free. So if this is just sort of my favorite one and super useful. But I just see kids are being taught Canva in schools. That's really super interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. So has anybody used video within Canva before? No? Oh. Well, I hope this encourages you to do it. It's super fun and quite fairly easy. Like, you can be pretty simple with it, like just animating text, and it's a video. Just download it as an MP4. But yeah, do it. Try it with Canva. It's Debbie. Yeah. It's really great. And it actually has really improved just in the last couple of years. But before, you couldn't do the things that you can do now, like splitting clips and adding the timing and things like that. It's a new thing. But sure. All right. Are we moving on here? Okay. So I am going to go down another little rabbit hole about video. We did go over the fact that the video is found in the sidebar. You can edit individual clips in the scrolling view, but you edit multiple pages in the timeline view, blah, blah, blah. We've done all that. You can remove background from a video. Did I mention that? That's kind of interesting. I've done that for a social media post. I had a bunch of people cheering and I wanted it just on a white background just at the bottom. So that was pretty good. That worked out. Again, if you have the video format, hang off the edges of the page so that you can filling the screen with the part of the video that you want is a good idea. You can add a video to a grid along with still photos or other photos for a video for an interesting collage. So I don't know if you want to see that kind of thing, but you can actually go under the Elements tab and getting out of this search. If you scroll down to grids, you can see all, and it gives you a whole bunch of things. Each of these things is just a way of adding a picture. So if you want just photos in the collage, you can. So say you choose something like this, you just click on it, it pops up. Get out of the grids, we go back into our videos and images, say we want to put him in here. If we want to put, where's our video? Can we find our video quickly? Say we want to put him in here. So you can actually do something pretty quick and create, like, I don't know why I'm stuck on a DJ dance thing. Not everybody is doing that, but here we are. Going down. I don't know the last time I was at some sort of concert, but anyways. So we're going to move on to outputting images. I see there's a question here. When resizing, you will always have to move the items to fit the new sizing. Generally speaking, yes, because Canva is doing its best to put it where you might want it. But yeah, there's always going to be a bit of shifting around, and especially going from like an Instagram square to a poster, there's all that real estate that needs to be filled. It won't do it for you. But it's sure it's a great steps. Like, I think when I first started using Canva, I was copying and pasting it from one document to the other. Not as much fun. All right. Also, I a lot of times just use my Instagram square for Facebook. It does that now, but yeah, kind of lazy. That's real lazy, especially when it's this easy. But okay, we're going to talk about outputting your image. So now you've got your social media image or your poster or your video. What do you do for each thing? I'm not sure how many people are familiar with this, but JPEGs are for still images. MP4s are for video. In Canva, if you actually go under the share, there's a whole list of things that you can do with it. You can print with Canva, you can present. But if you drop down the menu, it gives you a bunch of different ways to save and different places you can save it, the Google Drive and Dropbox over at OneDrive. You can go to your socials. You can do in the messaging, you can get it to WhatsApp, your messages, Facebook Messenger, see all. This is my favorite thing in the world, is that we use MailChimp. So instead of downloading your image to your hard drive and then uploading it back into MailChimp, you can actually save it directly to MailChimp. And when you go into MailChimp, it'll be in your library of images. So that's very fun for me. You can make flip books, all sorts of things in here. But back to this. Yeah, you can share via Canva's portal to social media. Okay, GIFs are video, but they're less useful. As I mentioned before, they're not acceptable on Facebook. They are fun for your website, or I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if any mail platforms like MailChimp. MailChimp doesn't use GIFs, but I'm not sure if any of the other ones do. Okay, PNGs are interesting. They're still images, and they actually handle transparent backgrounds. They're raster based and they can lose quality when scaled up. So if you're going to make one, make it quite big. And then when you download it as a PNG, You can say that you want a transparent background. So this is good is if you create a logo, for instance, in Canva, you can download it with a transparent background, and then all of a sudden that makes it good for anything you're going to use. So you don't get that white block behind it, which is super useful if you're into that. SVGs are vector-based and scalable. You won't, I'm not sure if you'll be using that. Okay, so then we get into PDFs. Print is best done in CMYK, which is the CMYK is the printing inks, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And this is the web-friendly, the RGB. So if you're going to click on share, you want to download it here as a PDF. There's a PDF standard. It's best for emailing. Say if you just want to attach an email, it may never ever get printed. That's fine. Or if it gets printed and the colors are weird, doesn't really matter. Like the colors won't go extremely weird. They just might not be your favorite red or blue or whatever. This PDF print is best for printing. If you're sending things to printers, they may want the crops and bleeds. So crop marks and bleed marks are where the printer can cut the paper, and the bleed gives extra space so that the if the printer shifts, there won't be a white space, say, beside this bar only goes to this edge. And as they're printing, things are not perfect, the page is out of line. It would end up with a white blank there if the page was off when it's printing. So let's go back to this, download here, my squirrels, PDF for print. So you can flatten the PDF so that it's not editable, because now PDFs are editable. It's kind of crazy. Before it used to be the secure thing. But then you'd choose your page. You'd also choose your color profile. So again, if you're making a poster and you want it printed professionally, use CMYK. And ask your printer if they want crops or bleeds. Some of them don't. But there we go. Does that sort of cover printing enough for those who are interested in printing, or do other people have questions about printing?
I haven't seen anything. Yeah, I haven't seen any questions.
Okay.
I've printed quite a bit of posters through Canva, and they turn out really good. So making sure you resize to the size of paper you want. And so Corinne, you did 8.5 by 11. That's just a regular sheet of paper that you would find in your printer. You could do legal size, which is
8.5 by 14.
8.5 by 14. And you can print it at your home office printer. Like you don't need to go to a fancy print shop. But using Canva, you'll get a nice image.
Yeah, and you're right, Camilla. It is important that you don't try to print like this is like an Instagram size, and it is like 9.5 by whatever inches, but do create your images in the size of the paper that you want printed,
Yeah.
because you will get pixelation or yeah. So, all right. I'm going to switch back to, let's see if I can get back into my presentation. Cool. And I've switched. I'll give you my the top 5 tips for elevating your design, courtesy of Magic Write, because at the time it was new and fun, but it came out with some really good ones. So keeping it simple and avoiding clutter. A clean and minimalistic design can often be more effective and visually pleasing than a busy one. Use a consistent color palette and typography throughout your design to create a cohesive look and feel. Consider the user experience and make sure your design is easy to navigate and understand with clear calls of action. Again, it's painful, but cut your text down. Pay attention to the details such as alignment and spacing to ensure your design looks polished and professional. And don't be afraid to iterate. I do. Make changes as needed. A good design is often the result of multiple revisions and improvements. And I actually should have showed you in here under the share, there is says copy link, so you can choose who can, if it's on your team or anyone with a link, and you can actually copy the link. Somebody else without Canva can actually go in and look at it and just say, oh yeah, I do like that design. I like page 3 or whatever they want. But for those people interested in the technical aspects of Canva, oh, we didn't talk about folders. Here are the 10 tips for efficient use of canva.com. Organize your design into folders and keep them easily accessible. That's my downfall. I do find that the system for folders is a bit awkward, but it is true. If you put things in folders, it's a great thing. I'll show you that after if people are interested. Use templates as a starting point to save time and ensure consistency. Customize templates by just changing colors, fonts, and images to fit your brand or project. Utilize the duplicate page feature to do multiple versions of a design without starting from scratch. Use the resize feature to quickly resize designs for different platforms or purposes. Take advantage of all of Canva's built-in design elements. Save frequently used design elements such as custom templates in a folder for easy access. You can also star them now to keep them close at hand. So they're on each little image on the home screen. You can click on star and then they show up on the panel on the left of the home screen. You can collaborate with team members by sharing designs and allowing for comments or feedback. Use the share feature to share designs directly to social media or download them in various formats. And stay up to date with Canva's new features and updates to continuously improve your design skills. They're changing it quite often. Well, quite often. Once a year, they do a massive change. There are, I think, occasionally little changes, but it's there's so many how-to videos out there. There's and some great ones. You learn some new techniques. It's pretty great. So I am actually, oh, I'm gonna actually switch back to this other. I can show you the folders and things like that. Oh. Okay. I have some random tricks, another squirrel, but things I found that I find useful. I don't know if anybody's heard of TechSoup.ca. It's oh, please go find that. It's discounted software for nonprofits. You do have to apply, but then you get software for so cheap. Like Adobe, you pay 147 a month. I think it's like $40 a month on TechSoup. But there's also Word. There's what other things are on TechSoup? There's
QuickBooks is a big one.
QuickBooks is a big one. So get it for cheap. It's my big thing for today. You can edit. This blew my mind. I found this out. This is one of the changes they made. You can actually edit a PDF in Canva, and I believe that pretty much. I don't know if I should check that, but it's just a page. Let's see if I can find. Let's go in here. Oopsie, there, bookmarks here. There's a free PDF page remover. So if you have that annoying thing where there's one blank page at the end or it just has some useless information, you can just upload your file, drop it here, and then it'll pop up as a like a scrollable document, and you can remove pages and you can edit. So there's a whole bunch of things down here. You can change PDFs to JPEGs. Adobe Acrobat, watch out. It's pretty intense here.
That's gonna help so much. How many times have I gotten a PDF and I'm like, Corinne, can you combine this in Adobe? And now I'll be able to just do it through Canva.
Yeah, it's so exciting. So we did this already, but doubling up on text boxes when you animate text ensures that it's seen on a thumbnail. This is kind of an odd one. So when you're grouping things, like if you want, I've got these 3 random objects here. Say you want to center these. And so you grab all 3, you're going into the position, actually, yeah. So you can center them in the middle, right? Say if you wanted, say these are logos for your poster, and you want to make it look a little neater. So you can grab all three and line them up in the middle like I did. You can tidy them up horizontally. So there we go. It'll move it like that. Then if you group them by pressing the group in this pop-up panel here, you can then actually center that. So then it actually looks neat on the page. If you were ungrouped and you tried to center this whole thing, you might be moving things around and not get, oh, see, Canva does do that as well. But anyways, that's just a random helpful thing, hopefully. You know, some of the text, I have to say the text is formatting is not as robust as InDesign, but so in order to have like an inset bullet, you would click at the end of your of a line here, press enter, and then if you tab in, you get the various bullets. If you change it to, if you go up here and click the list, oopsie, you can get it to be other things. It's a little bit random, but I was having trouble, so I was trying to get the, yeah, you still can't have a soft return and do get a different, not have it do a bullet like this. Have you heard of a soft return? That's my next fun thing. Let's see, backspace. Oops, not doing undo. Here we are. Okay. So a soft return is Shift Enter. And has anybody heard of this? Or it's just such a good little thing. Usually, if you've got text and it doesn't work in bullets on Canva, but it does. Like say you've got a line and it goes to the edge and you don't want it to. A soft return is a shift, hold down Shift and Enter, and it'll move the line to the next without sort of giving it a full paragraph spacing like that. It just, anyways, little bits of wisdom. I'm not sure if that's clear or not, but there we go. All right. Where are we for time? Ooh, we're coming in. All right. So I guess we've done a lot of questions, but does anybody have any final questions?
Yeah, maybe we'll take the next 6 minutes or so to just open up the floor and see if anyone has any questions. And if you want Corinne to demo something again, or you want something completely new demoed.
Yeah. What are your pain points? I actually have a question for you. So I've done this workshop and I've pre-baked a lot of things. Would you prefer seeing me move things around, or is that, to me, that's like watching paint dry, and I'm not sure if that's, but would you rather see stuff being moved around, or having things pre-built is the way to go?
We will be giving an evaluation form, so if you want, you can add it there, or you can share your thoughts right now. Brent, you've unmuted, so you can share.
I was just going to say, as a moderately experienced Canva user, that might be overselling myself a little bit, but familiar with the platform anyways. I even found it moving a little bit fast still. So a beginner, I think, would struggle probably with the pre-baked stuff. So maybe you might consider doing different levels depending on a person's experience. And for the beginner ones, I think it would be very helpful to them to do things step by step so that they can just see the whole process.
Right. Yeah. I was kind of hoping by sending out the link to the video, but I know people are pressed for time. But the Canva Design School does a lot of the very basic things. So I thought I'd be a little extra. But it is a fast, and it is why we're recording this, because hopefully somebody wants to go over and see again. And that'll be helpful.
Yeah, and I think I'll probably reference that video a couple of times.
Okay.
There was lots of great stuff in here. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Appreciate this.
Yeah, it's I'm very excited about Canva. So I kind of there's so many things that I have so many
Yeah,
children.
it's an amazing tool, and it just keeps getting better and better
Yeah,
and better.
Yeah.
yeah. It's getting a lot. I hope it just doesn't get bloated like it's, but anybody else? Yeah. I think what else have I got? Is anybody interested in choosing colors or fonts? Because I actually have information on that as well. I had to take some of my favorite children out of this workshop because there was a lot. But that information will be on the slides there, and it's in the resource page. There's a lot of Canva, of course, has a color picking help. They have pre-built color swatches, like palettes, and you can choose from theirs. You can also, if you have a color that you need, it can help you with different adding to that color. Oh, generate captions. The automatic captions or for a video, or do you mean like the captions for social media? For social media. Sure. All right.
So, Corinne, while you get that set up for that demo, I do want to just bring everyone's attention the feedback survey. We do take feedback very seriously. This is how we even put together this Canva workshop, is because people in other workshops said we needed a Canva workshop, so we put one together. This is super important to us. This is how we make our decisions. This is how we put things together. This is how we improve. So I would love to hear everyone's feedback. The link is just in the chat. If you could fill it out before you leave today. But yes, Corinne and I are still here for question and answer though.
Sure. Okay. So I am going to go into here. What kind of social media post do we want? You would go in here, click on text, and I'm just going to use the heading. It's going to pop this in. So I'm going to ask it, let's see. I guess we can just go into the pencil and do a custom prompt and try, what do we want to know? Camilla, what do we want to know?
Yeah, I want to make a social media post about my fundraiser that is coming up next week.
Oh,
we are hosting
fundraiser. How about we do a workshop?
Yeah, sign up for our workshop for young kids learning how to use Canva.
Okay. Make a social media. Okay, so I'm going to go in actually and acting as a social media expert. Make a social media post about a Canva workshop for, let's say, 6th graders. Include hashtags and ideas for images. One other tip that they say for using AI, you can say to the you can type in ask me any questions you need to finish this task. And the other thing is, if you are doing a document that actually has sort of needs to be specific and accurate, you can ask for it to cite resources. I actually did one. I needed quotes. I wanted quotes about volunteerism, and I asked it to cite like who said it, and I went through and checked everyone, and it was accurate. So it is good to check, but you can ask it to cite resources. So I'm going to generate here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna add, I don't know, this spot. So it says, unlock your creativity with our Canva workshop for sixth graders. Hey, young creators, are you ready to dive into the world of design? Join us for an exciting Canva workshop where you'll learn how to create stunning graphics, presentations, and more. Whether you're passionate about art or just love to express yourself, this workshop is perfect for you. So it's got, oh, it's asking for date, time, location, what to expect, fun, hands-on activity, step-by-step guidance, make friends, new friends while you create. Don't miss this chance to unleash your imagination. Sign up now, and it's asking for the registration link. It's got the hashtags and the image ideas. Colorful graphics showcasing kids, sneak peek of the workshop materials. Let me know if you need any specifics or detailed changes. So you can say, add in these things, but add in the date. So yeah, I'm gonna add it below, and it gives you this. I'm gonna increase.
Being mindful of time, Corinne, I'm just gonna throw it into the group one more time. If there is any other questions or anything else that you would like demoed. And if you do have to run, I completely understand, no problem. Bye, Julia.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you. Have we got any questions? Oh, there's